Hey there, and welcome back to the Rock and Wellness Podcast. I am Rachel Joy Olsen, and as always, I am so glad that you're here with me today. Today's episode is a little different. It's in the style of Ask the Coach, where I'm answering real questions that I get from listeners, clients, and women in my community. Questions about stress, burnout, and boundaries. These are the kinds of conversations I have all the time in my coaching sessions, yoga classes, and even over coffee with friends who are feeling stretched thin. If you've ever wondered how to handle overwhelm without losing yourself, how to spot burnout before it takes you down, or how to set boundaries without feeling guilty, this episode is for you. I've pulled together 5 of the most common questions that I hear, and I will answer them honestly, practically, and with tools that you can use right away. So let's dive in. Now, one of the first questions I get is this: Rachel, how do I know if I'm just stressed or if I'm actually burnt out? And that's a great question. Stress and burnout exist on a continuum, but here's the difference. Stress is like your body's check engine light flashing. It's uncomfortable, but you can usually still function. You might feel overwhelmed, irritable, tense, or scattered, but you can still push through when needed. I mean, I'm sure we can all relate to that, right? We've all been there. Maybe you're there right now. Now, burnout is when that engine light has been ignored for too long. Now the car is sputtering, it's overheating, and it's barely moving. Burnout shows up as deep exhaustion that doesn't lift with rest, feeling emotionally numb or detached, cynicism about things you used to care about, and a sense that nothing you do matters anymore. Boy, I have said those words numerous times and haven't even recognized it as burnout. So here's a quick way for you to tell. Just ask yourself, if I got a full night's sleep and a day off, would I feel better? If that answer is yes, it's probably stress. If no, or if you literally can't imagine enjoying a day off, that's burnout territory. What to do right away? Pause and name it. Say it out loud. I'm stressed, or I'm showing signs of burnout. Naming it reduces any shame that you may have around it and gives you clarity. Then once you've named it, take one tiny step back. And I want to encourage you to cancel one non-essential thing today. When you do that, your body will thank you. I think sometimes when we're stressed or even burnt out, we just have too much on our plate. And if we can just back that up a little bit, give ourselves some grace, just take a couple things off the to-do list, we will feel so much better. So you're going to name it. Is it stress or I'm burned out? And then take one thing off your to-do list. All right, moving on to question number 2. I feel so guilty every time I try to set a boundary. How do I get past that guilt? Well, friend, if this one hits home for you, you are not alone. This one is one that I have probably heard from numerous clients, numerous family and friends. And, sadly, guilt is the gatekeeper of boundaries because we've all been taught that saying no makes us selfish or even unloving if it's in a relationship. Selfish in even a relationship or work. And sometimes even in a work scenario, it makes us seem like we're not committed to the job. And that is so not true. We are all entitled to boundaries. Here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about creating space so that you can show up as your best self. The guilt comes from an old belief that your worth is tied to how much you give. But you can't pour from an empty cup. So here are some practical steps to rewire that guilt. And I am someone who also carries a lot of guilt. So this is stuff that works and I have implemented in my own life and my clients' life. So first, start with internal boundaries. Say no to your own people-pleasing thoughts. So practice this and even repeat this affirmation. I deserve to have energy for what matters. I deserve to have energy for what matters. Second, use the sandwich method for external boundaries. Positive statement, boundary positive closing. Like, I love supporting you, but I can't take that on right now. Let's find another way. I'm here for you. Okay, so notice that there's a positive statement. I love supporting you. Then your boundary. but I can't take that on right now. And then a positive close. Let's find another way. I'm here for you. So third, notice what happens after you set a boundary. Usually the world doesn't end. People just adjust and you feel so much better. Years ago, I gave up if I don't want to do something, I'm going to ask myself, should I do it or do I actually want to do it? And if it's a should, I usually take a look and go, is this something that I just can't fit into my world right now? And if that's the case, I say no without any excuses. Nobody needs to know the reason why. It can simply be because I don't want to. That's a good enough boundary. But when you just let people know that, hey, you know what, I'm still here for you. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do this right now. Just don't have the capacity. People will understand. I always find, especially if you're being completely honest, people understand. If they don't, well, that's their problem. So truly, guilt fades with repetition and practice. So every boundary you set is practice for the next one, just like anything else. Whether it's a yoga practice, whether it's a boundary practice, it's important to start small and then keep it up. So say no to one extra task today that feels heavy for you. And then just take a moment and pause and feel the freedom. Let's say you've committed or somebody asks you to go out and do something, and you're just not feeling it today, then just be honest and say, you know what, I think I'm just going to have a me day. Let's do something another time. Okay? All right, moving on to question number 3. What are the early warning signs of burnout so I can catch it before it's too late? Well, burnout doesn't happen overnight. We all know that. It's a slow build. It happens over time. So here are some of the signs that people see mostly. First of all, physically. Chronic fatigue that coffee can't fix. Frequent headaches or tension, shallow breathing, or your body feeling heavy all the time. Big time physical symptoms that I'm sure we have all felt. Emotionally, irritability over small, silly little things that normally wouldn't make you irritable. Numbness to joy, withdrawing from people you love, or feeling resentful towards your responsibilities. Mentally, brain fog, decision fatigue, forgetting things or obsessive worrying. Behaviorally, procrastinating on important things, overworking to avoid emotions, skipping self-care or emotional eating, drinking, or scrolling. And so if those of you who are over 40 and going through perimenopause, as I am, you probably look at all those things and go, I have all of those right now. So what I've been learning, the more I experience and learn about perimenopause, is that those of us who are going through this time in our life get burnt out really easy, or the burnout just starts to catch up to us is probably more like it. So what I would say is just track patterns, not the one-offs. This is if 3 or more of these things feel familiar for 2 weeks straight, then you know it's time to hit pause. So a right now action, do a 1-minute body scan. Close your eyes, breathe, and ask, what is asking for my attention? Your body always knows first. It has an extreme amount of wisdom. And so all you need to do is just stop for a moment, connect to it, and see what your body's wisdom has to say, and the answers will come to you. All right, moving right along. Question number 4. My life feels completely out of control. Emails, kids, work, everything piling up. How do I manage stress when I can't control the chaos? Well, when life feels like a whirlwind, trying to fix everything often backfires. Instead, let's create some internal steadiness amidst the external chaos, because sometimes some of that stuff isn't going to go away. We all have responsibilities. So let's do a couple of steps here. Step 1, anchor your breath. Breath is so powerful, and anchoring into that breath is so healing and such a gesture of self-care that I can't stress how important it is enough. So take 3 slow breaths, and as you inhale for 4 counts, feel and see that breath drawing into the body. And then exhale for 6 counts. This nice, slow breath tells your nervous system that it's safe, even if life doesn't feel like it is. And step 2, choose one tiny controllable thing. Make your bed. drink some water, stretch for a few seconds, and always remember small wins build momentum. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Then step 3, use the 80-20 rule. 80% of your stress comes from 20% of your tasks. So write down your top 3 must-dos for today, do those, and let the rest wait until you're absolutely ready to do them. And step 4, name the emotion under the stress. Often it's fear, overwhelm, or grief, such as, I feel scared that I can't keep up. Taking that opportunity to name it, giving it some little bit of attention, loosens its grip. You can't control the storm, ever, and many things in your life might not be able to change, but you can build an inner lighthouse. So start with breath, complete one task, and recognize and acknowledge one honest feeling. That's your power. Okay, question number 5. I've been burnt out before and I'm scared of going there again. How do I rebuild without repeating the cycle? Well, rebuilding after burnout is like tending a garden after a drought. You got to be gentle, consistent, and patient. First, give yourself permission to go slow. That is my absolute favorite thing about teaching all the yin yoga that I do, is because it teaches us to give permission to slow down in so many areas of our life. And once your body and your nervous system starts to slow down and recognize how good that feels, you will start to crave it. Always remembering recovery of any kind isn't linear. Some days you'll feel great, others you'll crash. Both are completely normal. It's life. So here's some daily non-negotiables that I encourage you to start adding in. Sleep has to become a priority, 7 to 8 hours if you can. Making your bedroom a sanctuary, having some of those sleep hygiene routines, cutting off the screen, maybe going to bed, just read a book and relax, doing some meditation, some breath work before bed, especially if sleep is an issue for you. Take one joy break daily. What do I mean by that? Well, that means taking a walk in nature, especially if nature is your thing. Listening to an inspiring song, or I love to sometimes listen to a mantra. I love mantra music. I play it all the time in my yin yoga classes, and there's just a couple of them that just speak to my soul. And when I listen to them, they just draw me in. The Lokaha mantra by Deva Premal, if you want to look that up, that one is probably my ultimate go-to. So fantastic. Enjoying a nice tea, just having your favorite tea, whatever nourishes you without effort, whether it's that quick breath or, you look at pet your dog for 10 minutes or your cat or whatever it is that you have, but just take a joy break every single day. Of course, I love yoga, yin yoga, even if it's one posture. One yoga position can help drop you back into your body, connect back into what's important to you. That moment to just close your eyes, even if it's sitting at your desk. You can put your hands together in Namaskar Mudra and just breathe. Essential oils, as you know, are also a great thing to me. Even before jumping on doing the podcast today, I used a blend called the Aroma Touch, and it's just a beautiful calming blend that can kind of just draw into your nervous system and allow the body to rebalance and be calm. And then a weekly check-in or even a daily check-in is to, think about some questions like, what is draining me and what's filling me, and focus on the one that you need to focus on that week. Set some minimal viable boundaries, such as no work emails after 7, one night off per week, say no twice as often as you say yes. Track your energy, not your time. Notice what truly restores you. Maybe it's yin yoga, quiet reading, or time in nature. And you know what? I think that's probably my favorite one, tracking your energy, not your time, because we live in a world where we are trading our energy for time every single day. And I think it's so important just to kind of just stop that in its tracks for a moment and draw back in some of our energy whenever we can. Now, long term, you want to build a support rhythm, some sort of support, some sort of community or some sort of habit rhythm that you can do so that you stay on track. And of course, if ongoing guidance is something that appeals to you, I offer memberships or simple starter packs like the free Aroma Yin 5-day self-care kit, which is on my website. It's absolutely free. And this can help create that steady container without overwhelm, as it's just little small bits of things that you can just add in every week or even every day if you can, that allows you to stop and just check in. So remember that rebuilding is proving to yourself that rest works. I've had numerous people come up after taking in yoga and they weren't sure. They're scared, and people are not used to slowing down. But once they do, they think, well, now I'm starting to crave this. And you will. Once you trust the process, one gentle day at a time, your body and your nervous system will start to thank you and ask for more. So if you look back at all these questions, they show a common thread. Stress, burnout, boundaries, they are deeply connected to how we relate to ourselves. Remember, if you're feeling any of these things, you're not failing. You're human, navigating a world that asks a lot out of us. Far too much, actually. Dr. Gabor Mate's book, The Myth of Normal, I got to see him speak in Calgary not too long ago. And, we're making a lot of these things, whether it is stress or whether it's certain ailments that we're experiencing, normal when they're not. We're human beings with a soul, and we deserve and desire to be supported in a way that our world just doesn't seem to support. So, but the good news is that awareness is your superpower. And you can notice these things. You can name these things honestly, and you can start acting kindly towards yourself. And once you start acting kind and compassionate to yourself, things start to shift. Like anything else, though, consistency is key. So pick one insight from today. Track a burnout sign, practice one boundary, anchor your breath in chaos. Small steps compound into big freedom. So it can happen over time, and it will happen for you one breath at a time. If these conversations spark something deeper in you, just know there are spaces for more. I'm always here to support, like classes or retreats where we practice these sorts of things together, or start simple with resources on my website at rjowellness.com. But today, the real work here is yours. Listen to your body. Honor its wisdom. We have so much wisdom within that we often ignore. And give yourself the grace you'd give a dear friend, because you deserve it. You are worthy of ease. You are capable of boundaries, and you are, in this moment in time, already enough. Wow. So that's it for today. Sending you much love and gratitude for being here. I hope you've received great value from this episode. Please feel free to visit the show notes page for this episode, number 61. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking your wellness. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Rockin' Wellness Podcast. Make sure to visit my website at www.rjowellness.com, where you can subscribe to the show and check out all the show notes. While you're at it, if you found value in this podcast, if you'd simply tell a friend about it, that would help out too. You may choose to join the R.J.O Wellness community to take advantage of the freebies, courses, and coaching that will take your voyage to the next level, or support this podcast with your monthly membership. Until next time, my friends, keep rocking your wellness.